sun's just coming up, and we've had quite a pleasant sail during the night. Wind was pretty consistent. We had a couple of patches where we had a small squall or small rainstorm that robbed us of wind, but then pretty consistent sort of 15-16 knots. This was a much easier river to enter than the Kourou River. The voyage was better and it was much deeper. Both rivers are barely used by commercial traffic, but I've just noticed that coming down the river is actually a merchant vessel. You can just see in the distance, just on the horizon, past the red buoy, is the ship coming down. The river has quite a few little creeks and tributaries that you can explore. Entrance there to the Coswine Creek, which we could take. It would make quite a big detour. Someone lost their fishing net on this buoy. Not a very big ship. The AIS tells me he draws 4.1 metres and he looks very lightly loaded, so he won't have any trouble getting out of the river. And he's not going very far, he's just going up the coast a bit to Paramaribo in Suriname. This looks like the pilot boat going out to retrieve its pilot. This looks like an island in front of us, but actually, as we get closer, you'll see it's not. It's the wreck of a ship. The ship's name was the Edith Cavell.
Edith Cavell was born in 1865 and lived for only 49 years until she was convicted of treason and executed by a German firing squad. She was a British nurse with strong religious beliefs who saved the lives of soldiers from both sides without discrimination. She said she couldn't stop while there were lives to be saved. As well as nursing, she helped over 200 Allied soldiers to escape from German-occupied Belgium during the First World War. Her court-martial and subsequent death received worldwide condemnation and lots of coverage by the press at the time. On the night before her death, she famously said, "Patriotism is not enough. I must have no hatred or bitterness towards anyone." This quote is now inscribed on a memorial to her near Trafalgar Square in London. During her life, she was also a pioneer of modern nursing in Belgium. The ship named after her also has a sad tale to tell. Built in 1898 by Bartram and Sons for H.E. Moss & Co., the steamship ran aground on the Maroni River on the 30th of December 1924. It was on a voyage from Marseille to Fort-de-France carrying general cargo, with stops in St Laurent and Cayenne on the way. St Laurent was still a penal colony at the time. Despite having a pilot on board, the ship's master and crew were blamed for the accident, and the master, engineer and first officer were thrown in jail. After 3 years of pleading and finally intervention from the UK and French governments, the sailors were released. The engineer and first officer returned home, but the captain was too sick to make the journey and died in French Guiana not long after. So we've come ashore this morning because it stopped raining for a little while. How many millimetres of rain did we have yesterday? 24 millimetres of rain? Is that what it said?
Oh, I don't know.
On the weather thing?
It was...
I don't know, but just in the cockpit alone, we filled up a whole 25-litre jug. No problem.
And we actually got our rain catcher made, which is like a cover over the forward part of the boat so we can keep the forward hatch open while it rains as well. And with that, I think we nearly filled the tanks up yesterday.
Yeah, well, we filled both the slightly smaller side tanks, and the main tank is on its way to the top.
Yeah.
Pretty close now.
The sun's out, but if you look up there, it sort of looks a bit black, and it's giving showers,
showers.
6 to 8 millimetres of rain today, which is still quite a lot, but we're going to try and dodge the spots. We're going to the consulate now, the Dutch consulate.
Yes, see if we can get our visas so we can pay a quick visit to Suriname.
Yeah, I was going to say not Dutch, Surinamese, is it?
Yeah.
Surinamese?
Surinamese.
Surinamese. Say that when you've had a few beers. Okay, it's a bit of a hike, so let's get going. St Laurent du Maroni is a very old established little town on the banks of the Maroni in French Guiana. The other side of the river is Suriname, and as we're walking along we've noticed this rather grand, imposing building, and it dates back to the time when this part of the world was quite famous for, and is in fact still is quite famous for, gold exploration. And this is where all the gold miners would come to cash in their gold, and this was the main bank, and it's absolutely tipping down, so I'm going to cut this short. And just a few yards further up the main street here we have this rather beautiful colonial style church, and as you can see between the bank and the church is quite a nice little garden, little area for people just to come and relax in the sunshine, which it's not doing at the moment. Well, we're absolutely soaked. We have been caught in so many downpours.
We've got the one dry moment the whole afternoon, I think. Better enjoy it.
Yeah, we hope that most of this tour's inside. So we're going into the, they call it the Bagne? Bagne?
Yeah.
Which is the, what this place was. It was a penal colony from the 1800s to 1946 when it was eventually closed. And then after being a penal colony, the town was sort of taken over generally by people from the area, and now the camps are a visitor attraction, and we're going to find out all about them. Okay, that's better. Well, we've come in and we've just got to wait until 3:30 when the tour starts. Yeah, I bet the convicts, when they were here, it was nothing like this for them. This is quite plush, look.
You had one here, and after it was built here, and its part was the chapel for the mass that could be given on Sunday, 3 days for the prisoners. On the right side, it was the examination room. So different technique of measures, very precise, were used to take the measurement, the mensuration of the convicts behind that building.
Okay.
Of the 18th century already. So even before political prisoners was the deported. I don't close, just for my curiosity. The different category, and behind you one part for the transported to a minimum of 5 years of forced labor. So here you found a roof protecting the two where the guards were passing to survey the prisoners. Okay. The cells were closed by a double wood door without eye. It's my favorite cell. The life after the death of a lot of convicts in the cells. Well. That can be moved depending on the size. So the system was closed here by verrou. So here you had one hole to fix the system.
Yeah.
Yes. Here it was the job of the key guard. Very nice job. It's because of that it was chosen in the convicts coming from North Africa. Here you have the ring. So often the ring was put on the left leg, like that the convicts had some difficulties to go out of the bed. So like this, and then they push in the on the justice bar. They can put two rings if they want really to block the convicts. They can also put the ring like this. I will show for Mr. So that is a torture system. Here the guards put it like this and close the system. So here you have the leg of the convicts pushing on the justice bar and the ring pushing on the leg of the convicts. So very, very hard conditions. It's the original one. It's 2 kilo weight. I hate that noise. Okay. For the meals of the disciplinary district. The middle room was the dining room for the condemned to death. And the right room was the a stockage room for the guillotine that was mobile. Okay. Yes.
Lunch today with Anna and Stefan, and we've arrived at the ship, the Golette, which is an old ship on the river.